Greetings, this is Vane and welcome back to Let's Play Planescape Torment. Okay, in the last episode we did a tour around the southwest corner of the hive. It's this bit down here if you haven't seen it, if you didn't know. And we've found, what have we found? Southwestern portion of the hive, Curator's warehouse, northeastern portion of the hive, painted door to tenement of the thugs, Fell's tattoo parlour, and the smouldering corpse bar.
Hey, we're being watched, Chief. Just look natural. Casual. Your sheer ugliness stabs pain into my eyes. Yeah.
Come on in, fire drip! See the burning man! He's on fire!
Sure, why not?
You've got to see it to believe it! The burning man, right here, right inside!
So we're going to go into the smouldering corpse bar, and there's a reason for this. Okay. What have we got? Ignis, Drusilla, this crackling, bellowing creature twists slowly above an iron grill on the floor of the bar. May have once been human, but now its skin is charred beyond recognition. Streams of fire form a reef around the creature's body, and the flames lick at a few remaining pockets of flesh, causing them to bubble and run like rats down the creature's skeletal frame. Greetings? The thing makes no response. It goes slowly within the flames. It lives, but does not seem aware of anything other than the fire that surrounds it. Its skin is flame, its heart is flame, and you know, within some shadowed corner of your memory, this thing is dangerous. Examine the creature. Heat surrounding this creature is incredible. You are surprised the iron grill, but the creature floats above a sagged and bent from the heat. At first you thought the heat came from the grill, but now you realise it emanates from the creature as you watch flecks of ash drift from the writhing corpse to float slowly to the ceiling. Greetings. Leave the thing alone. Okay. Who have we got? Let's speak to Drusilla. I think everyone's pretty much named in here, isn't they? This is a woman with fading bruises on her face and arms, and a despairing look and longing in her southern eyes. She might have been pretty once, but those days were long ago. She's turned slowly to face your life. Life pours into her features, and the spark of sardonic light that dances in her eyes now makes you wonder if your eyes were deceiving you. Welcome to the smouldering corpse, scarred man. Who are you? I am Drusilla, and you must be clueless. Don't ask me how I know that. It just shines off you. Clueless? I think not. She smirks at you, and her bruises seem almost to fade. Whatever you say, dearie. Whatever, answer some questions for me. I, traveller, what is it you seek? I'm looking for a journal. Would you happen to have seen it? A journal? Oh sure, I've kept an eye out for all stray journals, just in case some scarred man walks into my favourite bar and starts asking about it. Do you ask that of everyone you meet? What a fascinating life. You have a smart mouth on you, don't you? I have a smart mouth for a smart head. I ain't the addo cove you might think, sod. I got a brain on me. You're so smart, you should be able to answer my questions. What can you tell me about this place? Here, this is the smouldering corpse, though I've seen the person although the person smouldering ain't dead yet. He's just keeping himself alive till someone comes along to help him out. Sods who like to see people in pain come here. Fiends like it. Folks who don't much care for being bothered come here too. The name alone keeps out most of the birds. Who is he anyway?
Updated my journal.
That despair you saw in her face before flits across it like a black winged shadow before she masters herself. That's Ignis, one of the greatest wizards that ever come out of this slummy excuse for a cesspool. They caught him and opened up a channel to the plane of fire through him, and now he's just a doorway for it, keeping himself alive by force of will alone. Someone could douse him for a few moments, it'd give his life back, but they don't make enough water to do that. Someone should be able to do something. Oh well, can you answer some more questions for me? I'm looking for a collector by the name of Farod. Have you seen or heard of him? Farod, she snickers, the Collector King. You can probably find him in his sinking ilk in the trash warrens on the far side of the hive. Good luck in getting any answers from him. He's a sly devil, he is. Farod answers some questions. Nothing. Goodbye. Let's go up here. Got Mercy Killer Patron, Alace, Ebb Creek Knees, Dakon. No. You want, and also we've got Earquakes. Let's talk to Dakon first. He wants to be. The man before you is old. His dry yellow skin has the scars of one who has travelled it everywhere and has never rested long in any one place. His pinched face is humanely angular, and his ears sweep out from his skull, taper into points. He wears a loose-fitting orange tunic, and a strange shimmering blade is strapped across his back. The blade looks to be a two-pronged blade made from some metal whose surface swirls like a firm film of oil on a pond. Greetings. The man turns to you, his eyes like polished coal. He stares through you, and for a moment you wonder if he might be blind. The weapon suddenly turns a dead flat black, mirroring the man's eyes. Are you alright?
Hail, traveler.
Says nothing for a moment, merely searches your face with his eyes. How, traveller? His voice is quiet and sombre like wind through the branches of a tree. How?
Your eyes have the weight of one who has traveled far to be in this place.
The man meets your gaze, his eyes burrowing into yours. His weapon drains his black colour, resuming the shimmering you noticed before you spoke to him. Your eyes have the weight of one who has travelled far to be in this place. You could say that. The man's gaze does not waver from yours. I am known as Dakon. The emphasis he places on the words known strikes you as odd, yet familiar at the same time. You are not known to me. I do not know myself. That is for the best. In knowing yourself, there would be little in the plains left worth knowing. You fall silent for a moment, still studying you with cold black eyes. I would know why you have to come to this city. I'm looking for answers. I have many questions. Speak your questions, I will hear you. Your features are unfamiliar to me. What are you? A gifts array. A gifts array. A gifts array is one of the people. One of the people. A gifts array. Yes, but what are the gifts array exactly? Dakon is silent for a moment and speaks. Our history does not need to be made known to you. We would bleed to death on the times blade before I recite a fraction of the histories of our people. I don't need to know your histories, but I would know your people as they are now. Dakon is silent for a moment. Know this and accept it as an answer. We are the people who make our home upon this shifting plane of limbo. With a death motion, Dakon slips the blade from his back and holds it before him. Wait, see what happens. There we mould the matter of limbo with our minds. We forge cities with our thoughts. As you watch, a series of rippling waves of metal begin to roll forth from the centre of the blade. The pitch and crest of the waves match the inflection of Dakon's voice. In its chaos we dwell, with only our knowing to preserve us. We are the gifts array. That blade you had, the move shifted in response to your voice. It is a Karak blade. It is an object that lets others know the rank of the wielder. Karak? What does that mean? Yang falls silent for a moment as if searching for the correct words. In your tongue, the closest translation is chaos matter. The people may shape it with their thoughts. Move it with their thoughts. Karak is not shaped by heat, but by knowing oneself. It is a mirror that reflects the will of the wielder on its surface and in its edge. When one knows themselves, the blade is strong, harder and stronger than steel. When one does not know themselves, the blade is as water, formless and weak. What rank does the blade signify? The blade is a symbol carried by the Zerf. A Zerf is one who knows the words of Zerfimon. In knowing the words of Zerfimon, they know themselves. Zerfimon. Zerfimon founded our race. He knew the gifts array before they knew themselves. He defined the people. He gave them one mind. What is that blade made of again? I had some other questions. Can you tell me about this city? It is known by the name of Sigil. Among the people it is also known as a city that does not know itself. It doesn't know itself. What do you mean? The city exists, but it does not know itself. In not knowing itself, its existence is flawed. How is it flawed? The city exists in opposition to itself. If it had set itself apart from the planes, yet seeks to be everywhere at once, its walls are doors, yet it keeps those doors locked. In such an existence tells of a thing that does not know itself, and not knowing itself is one flawed. Okay. Truth. What if a city is not flawed? A thing does not need to be ordered to have a purpose to know itself. What if these contradictions are strengths that you cannot see? To your question, a question. What if the city is flawed and you see its contradictions all around you? To your question, a question. You claim you see its existence flawed. You have accepted this rather than explored the possibility of something greater may exist. That suggests you are flawed, and that you do not search for knowledge, only for a convenient answer. Dakon falls silent. There is no knowing the answer to the questions we have asked, yet the city exists, that is all. Yet I would maintain that we know ourselves by the questions we ask and the ones we do not. We cease asking questions and accept only what we can perceive. Then we will cease to know ourselves. Dakon's voice has been changed slightly, becoming heavier. Such words I have spoken before. I have heard them and know them. Where have you heard them? The words are mine. Once I knew them and knew their meaning. I had forgotten them until you spoke. Dakon's gaze travels through you and the blade stops shimmering, bleeding of all colour until it's translucent. There is a moment of silence and Dakon looks up at you. I will travel your path with you. I'll consider it. I had some questions first. Speak your questions, I will hear you. Seem to place a special emphasis on knowing. What do you mean? All things, whether structure or flesh, in existence defined by their knowing of themselves. And if a man does not know himself, if a man does not know itself, if a mind does not know itself, it is flawed. When a mind is flawed, the man is flawed. When the man is flawed, that which he touches is flawed. Dakon pauses. It is sad that a flawed man sees his hands make broken. Do you know yourself? Dakon falls silent. His cold-eyed look on the same distance that you noticed when you first spoke. I ask again. Do you know yourself? When Dakon speaks again, his voice has changed. His words echo like great stones dropped into a chasm. It looks like he is forcing the words from his chest. It is not my will that you know this. Perhaps I was being too kind, phrasing it as a question. Tell me. Words come out of Dakon slowly as if they're being carried one by one. It has come to pass that I do not know myself. Why? Dakon's voice drops to a whisper, like sand. I do not know why. I know it has happened, but I know not the how nor the when, nor how to know myself once more. Never mind, I have some other questions. Where's that blade you have? I've done that. Do you know a man named Farod? That one is not known to me. I've lost a journal. Do you know where it might be? The location for such a thing is not known to me. I had some other questions. There is nothing to be said. Farewell. As you turn to leave, the man speaks sharply. For the first time you have heard his tone change since the conversation began. Hold. The man's voice levels out. This city is not known to you. I would travel your path with you. You are old. Of what use could you be to me? Dakon's gaze changes. He looks as if he's looking past you, just as he did when you spoke to him. I am old, yet I have travelled far. The arts of war are known to me. The ties of the city are known to me. Nevertheless, where you stab in the dark, my blade strikes true. Doors locked to your hand are corridors to mine. In knowing these things through me, you will become strong. I would walk your path with you. Very well.
Your path is mine.
Strange enough, his voice seems distant and it echoes as if he were speaking along a great distance. Very well, let's go. So we've got Zakon in our party, which is one of the main reasons we came in here, really. Let's see what have we got. We've got the Unbreaking World.
I cannot part with that.
And a Whispering Flask. What's this one? This container holds a particular powder called Whispering Motes, loose translation of a great gift expression, a form of healing powder commonly used by the Giftsarray on the plane of Limbo. When the stopper is pulled and the spice touched on the skin of a wounded person, the spice travels through the injured person's body, generating raw mana to fill up holes in his physical form, no matter how small or large. In order for the spice to work, the user must concentrate its healing effects with the proper discipline. A practiced Giftsarray can heal even the greatest of wounds. In addition, its curative property is also the element of several other rites of passage. It is believed that the spice also fills the holes in the person's psyche, removing doubts and giving them focus and purpose. What else have we got here? Dakon's Earth Blade.
The Karak blade is tied to me. Neither may exist without the other. This ceremonial armor is the symbol of Azurth. I will not part with it.
Okay, armor class 5. Used by Dakon. Dakon's ceremonial Azurth armor is fashioned of interlocking metal rings, formed the same kind of substance that Dakon's blade is made of. Unlike the blade, however, it does not appear that the armor changes based on the mental state of the wielder. The armor is worn over a padded red tunic, and spike braces and shoulder pads have been added to provide greater protection to the arms and upper body. While Dakon's armor is similar to chainmail, it is lighter and more flexible, allowing him to wield his sword more effectively. It seems that when the sword and armor are used in tandem, this armor actually becomes lighter in weight and more flexible, more like cloth than chainmail. Whether this is a unique property of the crotch or whether there is some magical effect between the two items is unknown. Okay. Dakon's Earth Blade. In the Giftsarray home plane of Limbo, solid matter is sometimes a rarity. Limbo itself is a supermass of elements, and only through force of will can Giftsarray shape these elements into stable matter. A substance called Zerak is currently chain blade. It is a mental state that can be shaped with the mind. Dakon's blade is composed of this substance. Although through mental discipline alone, Dakon maintains the integrity of the blade. He can shape it slightly depending on his skill, just in its length, sharpness of edge. Presumably, as he gains levels, he may be able to manipulate the blade in new ways. It is not known whether all Giftsarray carry such weapons. Certainly a weapon that depends on the integrity of the wielder would be entrusted only to those who had learned to discipline themselves. This blade appears to have special religious significance for Dakon. Dakon has wound a series of parchments around the hilt of the blade. These appear to be mantras dedicated to Zerfimon. Okay, the Unbroken Circle of Zerfimon. This small round circle is the Unbroken Circle of Zerfimon. This Unbroken Circle is a Zerf religious text containing teachings of Zerfimon, the founder of the Giftsarray people. The circle is made up of a series of interlocking circles that fold out from one another, depending on which branch the reader wishes to follow in the path of the teachings. It is said that some Zerf spend years poring over the combination of the plates, looking for new significance in their teachings. Dakon seems to use his text as a means for focusing his spellcasting ability, for he pores over the tablet occasionally, memorising the words. Okay. We could use it, but there's no point in me using it yet. Got your lawful neutral. And your fighter mage. Information. My past is not known to you. It is not my will that you should know it. Know that I bear the scars of one who has travelled the plains. Know that I have never rested long in any one place. Know that I bear the weight of one who has travelled far to be in this place. Know that I am Giftsarray. Know that I am of the people of Zerfimon. It was Zerfamon who knew the gifts away before we knew them ourselves. We know he knew that we had to be done to free us. From his knowing came action. From his knowing, freedom was born. The gifts away ceased to be slaves and became a people. Know that I follow the unbroken circle of Zerfamon's. His words are known to me. His heart is known to me. All that remains is that I know myself. Okay. So we're going to pop that there. Mage Spellbook, what have we got? Submerge the will, Rating of Anger. Submerge the will. When the will is submerged, new strength is gained with the strength to endure and protect against adversity. With knowing the teachings of the third circle of Zerfamon comes greater protection against all forms of attacks. When cast, a magical orb of protected energy arises and protects the recipient from attacks from all directions. It both bestows an armor class 2 against all attacks and +1 to saving throws for 12 seconds per level of the cast. Okay. Rain of Anger. Zerfamon's teaching allow the challenging of anger into streams of unerring missiles that quickly strike those that oppose you. This spell summons a magical missile that strikes its target unerringly for 3 to 6 points of damage with no saving throw possible. In addition, the caster gains 1 extra missile every 2 levels for a total of 5 missiles at level 9. Okay, we also have Scriptural Skill. One of the earliest teachings of Zerfamon, this incantation reflects that knowing the flesh yields to still achieves, bestowing a greater advantage to strike and the strength to resist damage. Scriptural Shield grants +1 to hit and +1 to save to all creatures that are friendly to the PC in a 30-50 foot radius from the casting point. Vilkar's Eye. Vilkar's Eye is branded upon the one who is foolish enough to cross the caster. Vilkar's short-sightedness became the target's vision, and soon the world is muddled and dark. If the targeted creature fails its saving throw at -1 penalty, the creature is struck with blindness and suffers a -4 penalty in its attack and a +4 penalty in target's AC. Okay, so that's spells. And we also have the Power of One. From gift the warrior king came knowing oneself, and from knowing came immense power. Spell increases target strength score by a certain number of points or tenths of a point above 18, which will be qualified by race class descriptions. The spell cannot display a strength of 21 or greater. The bonus is as follows. So the Power of One is basically a strength spell. We've got Shield, Magic Missile, that's Bless, and that's Blindness.
Your will be done.
So we've got Candrian. See a soft-looking man with gentle, fast-staring eyes. He dresses in supple leather clothing and carries various implements of use and destruction about his body, such as ropes, spikes, tinderboxes, and empty vials of air. He looks half gone, literally. There's an insubstantiality to his existence, as if his essence has been partially leached away. He focuses his eyes on you, and suddenly you see them gripping and determined. Greetings to you, O Seeker. Greetings. He carefully sets down the mug he's holding and gives you all your attention. I have seen the far reaches in the multiverse and returned to tell the tale. I walked upon the bodies of dead gods and spun moonbeams in the astral plane ahead of 1,000 shriekings of Yankee knights. I passed the edges of existence and watched my essence shiver away before me. What is it I can do for you? I had some questions for you. Perhaps I have answers for you to speak, and I shall tell you. I met a woman named Ingress with very bad teeth. He said she'd come for a portal from some world that was opened by a tomb hum near 2 crossed trees. Can you get her home? He pauses briefly, thinking. I know of the portal of which you speak, though I have not travelled it these 30 years gone. I will take her home, Seeker. Go tell her to await my arrival. Then meet me back here, and I will tell you if I was successful or not. Thanks, I had some other questions.
Updated my journal.
Who are you? I am Kandrian Ilborn, traveller, dreamer, talisbearer, and so forth. You are a traveller, tell me of the plains. I am tired, Seeker, toast tired. I am fresh back from negation. I will answer what I can for you, but I cannot promise that you will find satisfaction in the answers that I give. What would you know? Would you hear of the outer planes, the prime material, or the inner planes? What's the difference? The difference is true essence, Seeker. The inner planes are matter, substance, true physicality. They are the building blocks of the multiverse, for it is from them that all belief in the elements spring. The inner planes filter through the ethereal plane, the plane of potential, some say, which forms the element into the worlds of mortals. Once past the ethereal plane, one reaches the prime material, where exists all matter of mortals and monsters and myths and machines. It is there that belief is born, and there is there that spirits that create the outer plane are born. When mortals die, they pass through the astral plane, and no place that is full of mental energy itself. It is in all things and in none. It is a paradox among other things, and its filters spirits into the great ring. Do you comprehend so far? Yes, go on. Now the outer planes, where should I start? Do you know the cardinal rules of the planes on which all others are based? Do you know about the composition of the outer planes? Do you know of the great ring and its division in our hearts? Do you know of the individual planes? Each of these leads to the next, so it is best to start from the beginning. Okay, tell me the composition of the planes. The outer planes are created of and by belief and thought and faith. They take their imagined form from the prime material plane, shaped into forms that stagger the imagination, built by the accumulation of belief. Belief changes the planes. Belief is power here. Change belief and you can change the nature of reality. The creatures that are born here, the plane-born, like the fiends and the celestials, are truly born of the thoughts and concepts of mortals. They each express some sort of ideal, and the more powerful the ideal, the more powerful the being. Thus, the being that symbolises love is one of the strongest of all. Go on. That's why the powers, gods some call them, live out here. This is where all the faith in them comes. This is where they're most pure and most strong. Their realms are extensions of their very beings, manifestations of their godly essence, all of it informed by belief. So the compositions of the planes of belief. Tell me of the great ring now. Among the loose unity of Planeswalker, we conceive of the infinite outer planes as a ring surrounding the plane of ultimate neutrality, the Outlands. The Spirotop's sigil 6 is in the centre of the Outlands. The further one travels away from the spire, the less neutral the plane grows until it spills into its neighbouring planes. Each of these planes impinges on the Outlands, spanning themselves into law and chaos, good and evil. The Great Road marks the demarcation between the Outlands and the gate towns that spring up around the gates to these planes. Beyond the gate towns lie the hinterlands, the uncharted territory that is lost to history, that it loses fought. Danger lies in the hinterlands. Go on. The outer planes differ by morality, not substance. For you, we'll divide the planes into 3 sets. The upper planes are good, the lower planes are evil, and the boundary planes are neutrality. These are then further divided by law and chaos, with the Outlands in the middle. Which of these interest you? The upper planes. The upper planes, there are neutral planes, the lawful planes, and the chaos planes. What would you know? The neutral planes. The neutral upper planes contain the beastlands, place of neutrality and goodness with a slight tinge of chaos, where the animals rule in eternal noon and night. They hold Biotopia, twin paradise of industry and labour, where all work towards the good for all, and Elysium, the sweetest place of goodness and calm I have ever come across. That's right, now I'm not well enough to enjoy any of their restorative effects. What would you hear now? Tell me the rest of the upper planes. The lawful planes. Cadrian gives you a small shudder. I am not the best person to speak of the planes of law, for the innate structure and ultimate patterns they impose frighten me. I steer clear of them because I value my individuality more than I value the knowledge they bring me. They include regimented Arcadia, nearest to the good planes to the unbending order of Mechanus, and Mount Celestia, home of Archons in an island in the Silver Sea. Chaotic planes. These are where I feel at home, though I steer clear of Isgard for the most part. The endless battles and tests of metal among the floating earthbergs of the plane don't do much for my disposition. Arborea, though, he sighs. The mountains are taller, the air clearer, the rivers purer, and the game larger than anywhere else. It is a true paradise. A place where passions run higher and the wine never ceases to flow. And I have recovered enough of my wits and myself. When we have done with the outer planes, you should ask me of the inner, and I'll describe my journey to you. I'll return to Arborea's bows and blades and lose myself for a time. Tell me the rest of the upper planes. Okay, let's go back a few steps. Tell me more of the planes of the Great Rings. We want to do the lower planes. Like the upper planes, the lower planes are divided into lawful, chaotic and neutral. Each of them varies in terms of horror and what those horrors do to the traveller's spirit, and all of them are best avoided. Which would you like to hear of? The neutral planes. The neutral planes, they're vile and barely understandable, and they're more insidious than they are on their own than you could ever imagine. Take Genna, for example, 4 volcanoes in stages of dormancy, floating in infinite void, each of them somehow alive, and each of them wanting your soul by whatever means they can get it. Populated with Yugoloths, the worst of the ultimate fiends in my opinion, and you've got the place. The plane of ultimate evil, at least that's what they call it, is the grey waste, in no place that drains colour from your body and spirit, stealing away even your apathy. And it's the site of the worst battlegrounds in the war down there. Don't get me started. Then you've got Carcery on the chaotic side. Tell me about Carcery. Carcery and its poisonous jungles, acid swamp, destructive waters, strung like a string of rotten pearls nestled within one another. He pauses and looks at you carefully, again fixing you with his eyes. Remember this, Seeker. Carcery is a prison, home to the Geralefs, one of the most dangerous types of fiend there is. The strength of the prison is the strength of the captor, as strong as the prisoner lets it be. Destroy the prison keeper and a body can escape the red prison. There's almost no other way out, but when the gates close themselves against you and watch you spin off into the vast space surrounding the orbs, beware of Carcery travel, for its bonds can be greater than flesh. Tell me about the war.
Updated my journal.
I had the blood war. At the name, your blood feels as if it freezes in your veins. Ilborn doesn't seem to notice. Wrapped up as he is in his memories, 2 armies of fiends smashing together pointlessly across the lower planes, slaughtering mindlessly in the name of law and chaos. They'll aggrandise it, of course, but in the end it's about hate and stupid endeavour that aids none and harms far too many. Tell me the rest of the lower planes. Wow, this is a lot, really. Like the upper planes, the lower planes are divided into lawful, chaotic and neutral. Each of them varies in terms of horrors. Let's go lawful. As much as I detest the order of the lower upper planes, at least they present a modicum of goodness. Their lower planar counterparts, however. Akron is a place of ricocheting cubes that never see an end to battle, swarming with the souls of dead humanoids. Baldur, he shivers unconventionally. Baldur is a place best avoided. Those Betazu, the fiends in the corner there, are but the merest expression of the deviant corruption embodied in the soulless machine of order. If you want more, talk to them, but remember, all that is bad about bureaucracy and order originates from Baldur, and it spreads like a stain across the hearts of mortals. Although there is some knowledge to be found there, is rarely worth the spiritual weight the plane reflects. Okay. Tell me the rest of the lower planes, the chaotic planes. The abyss isn't somewhere you should consider going, but Baldur's are orderly. The abyss is full of chaos and change, and none of it pleasant. When it comes to become something that approximates normality, that's when you should be most wary of it. It's home to the Tanari, what most primes call demons, and they've got that name for a reason. They are unpredictable murderers, and the few you can trust are few and far between. Few The few I have met who I trust, I still don't trust entirely. They are creatures of chaos and evil incarnate, and if they're putting on a friendly face, who's to say it's not part of a larger agenda? Tell me more of the planes of the Great Ring. The boundary planes. There are two boundary planes in my mind, and they are diametrically opposed. One of them, Mechanus, is the very essence of law, a place where beliefs fit together, interlocking and turning in the massive machine that is the entire plane. Some folks have it that the gears and Mechanus are the engine that drives the planes. The other plane is Limbo, a swirling morass of chaos that follows no rules. None, and just when a body thinks it's classified its behaviour, it goes and changes on you, or it doesn't. You just can't tell. I was in Limbo not long ago. Tell me of your journey. He closed his eyes, remembering. I had a Giftsarray guide with me, and Anarch could shape the illogical matter of the plane into the forms of his desire. We had fought off the harrying of the Slardi, the chaos creatures who call that plane home. He seemed there were more than usual, but then one can never tell what's usual in Limbo. But I digress. In the midst of all this chaos, we came across a series of huge metal interlocking cubes, like some sort of puzzle box. It wasn't something we had shaped consciously or not, and we couldn't find a way inside. It was like a bastion order within the confines of disorder, a seed of law. The best I can explain it. Okay. Tell me more of the planes.
Updated my journal.
Okay, the Outlands. The Outlands are absolute neutrality. Probably the best place for a body to visit in the outer planes outside of Sigil if you don't want to have the plane's morality forced into your heart. Everything balances out in the Outlands, as it should be, for the plane that sits here at the centre of the outer planes. Power's realms are scattered all about here, and there are a handful of gate towns that open into the rest of the outer planes. The gate towns usually mirror the philosophy of the plane their gate opens onto, and if the balance of belief isn't kept in town, the town slips into the nearby plane. It's a bad situation for everyone because few of the folks in the town really want that change. But enough of the Outlands, what would you know? Okay, let's go back. More of the planes in general. Tell me of the inner planes. He sighs as if being reminded of his bone-deep weariness. Think of the inner planes as a globe. On the top pole you have the positive material plane. On the bottom you have the negative material. He pauses, reminded to tell you of the negative. His eyes turn inward to some private horror. From the interaction between the two springs all of the urge for existence and non-existence, death and life, actuality and nothing. From them spring the basic elemental planes like fire, water, air and earth. The para-elemental planes that lie between the four basic elements, and the quasi-elemental planes that come from the interaction of the four elements and the positive and the negative. Okay, we'll take a break there. Basically, although it's not mentioned, the para-elemental planes sit in between the interactions between earth, water, air and fire. For example, air and water creates cold, air and earth creates dust. Is it dust? Yeah, I think it's dust. Earth and water creates ooze, and air and fire creates, I think it's smoke. They also have not dust, earth and fire. It's hard to remember once you know the order that they go around. Fire and water is steam. Water and air is cold. Air and earth is, I think that's smoke. Actually, not dust. Then you've got the quasi-elemental planes, which are where the interaction between the four elements, when there's positive from negative. So basically, if you think of it as going towards negative is a breakdown of the basic element of the plane. So it's like fire. Fire represents heat and energy. So as you go towards the negative plane from fire, things start losing heat and you get ash, which is basically everything that's burnt. You can't get any more fire from it. With water, the head towards negative gets you salt, which is basically it drains water from you. Air, you go towards negative, is an absence of air, which basically creates vacuum. It is an airless void. Equivalent to what would be space for us. And then there's Earth, and Earth is the breakdown in solid matter. So Earth's quasi-elemental plane going negative is dust. I think dust, because it's literally nothing solid can form, it's just powder. Going in the other way, fire represents energy, and an abundance of energy creates radiance, which is basically light. It is where light spells are powered from. So, and you create blinding effects. With water, it gets agitated for steam, but it's not hot. It's just it's just like it's boiling water without the temperature. For air gets agitated into storm and lightning. And then Earth is the weirdest one, because basically the quality of Earth increases, so you get minerals and crystal. So I mean, it's quite interesting the way it's mapped out, and of which the barest hint is given here. Tell me of the negative material plane. His eyes cloud over. I went to the inner planes to discover my true essence. I made the mistake of visiting the negative material plane in order to understand my body's urge to decay and the cycle of death in life. I thought myself protected against the ill effects of the plane with my magic, but I was wrong. The blackness of infinite nothing pressed on my soul, and I was beset by shadows that sought to snuff out my very soul. I lost my way for a time, for an eternity, and nearly lost my existence. I could feel my essence falling away from me, and even now I'm half gone. Never will I return. How did you survive?
Updated my journal.
How did I survive? He smiles tightly, with a piece of nothing that held back the nothing. Nothing can stop nothing, you know. And so I carried nothing in my hand to protect me. Do you plan to journey to that ultimate negation yourself? You have the smell of desperation about you, and so I'll make you this gift. Hold it in your hand when the shadows press in, and it should protect you and your friends somewhat, should they remain close to you. He passes a small black token and looks as if it has no dimensionality to it at all. Thanks. Tell me more of the planes. Okay. None, but I had some other questions. Okay. Who are you? What are you doing? I am fresh back from negation. I'm trying to restore my essence before it slips away from me altogether. Negation? What do you mean? Okay. I had some other questions. What is this place? Unless the cosmos has shifted or we have been spun into mazes, I would say that we're in a smouldering corpse tavern. What can you... mazes, what do you mean? The mazes where the lady dumps those who have displeased her. She makes a small semicircle over his heart as he speaks the lady's name. If you'd know more of the lady in the city, find a tower or some such guide. Oh well, I have some other questions. I'm looking for a journal I lost. I've seen no journals lately but for my own, and that has crumbled away into nothingness. My apologies. Any other questions? Do you know a collector named Farrod? Farrell grew up to be a collector. How long ago was this? When I last sat here, it was Button and Fisher Straplin in one of the upper wards. Heh, time does change some people. No secret, I don't know Farrell anymore, I'm willing to bet. Farewell, I had some other questions. Farewell, forget it. Okay, so we have the negative token. This is a negative token, a flat black disc that appears to have no substance to it at all. Turning it over reveals there is no third dimension. There is no thickness to this item at all. It can give you some command over creatures as shadow. You can command them to stand still for a few precious seconds. The more powerful the shadow, the less likely it is to obey your command. As an added benefit, as long as this token is carried by any of your party members, it acts as a ward against shadows. It will not prevent shadows from attacking your group, but the shadows will find it more difficult to harm you while the token is carried. Yeah. And I'm going to pause it there. We haven't done much, we've done a lot of reading. So this has been Vane doing Let's Play Planescape Torment. If you like what you're seeing here, be sure to like, subscribe, share and comment. Please consider sponsoring me on Patreon, and until next time, goodbye.